Good afternoon. Am I audible and visible to all of you? Can I get a confirmation on the chat box that I am audible and visible to all of you? Super. Right. Okay, so we are the I'm sorry. We are the introductory session for the operational level case study that will happen in November 2025, right? So you all are ready to face your first ever case study in the SEMA program, and so welcome to Nanaska. So I'll be taking you through the operational level case study course alongside Mr. Chanda Gunawardhan, and we have a few lecturers who will be assisting you with your refresh theory, that is E1, F1, P1 as well. Right, so we are a team of people trying to help you out to pass through the November case study examination. Right, so as we go on, I will tell you how it is structured, what we do in class, what is expected from you, to whatnot. Right, so first let's talk to each other. Let me try to get a quick understanding of how basically I just want to know where you come from. Is it from the OTQ pathway or is it from the FLP route? And maybe your current work role as to where and what you do in your workplace. So just to get a gist of understanding and for us to know each other, so that before we dive down into the introductory sessions, that we get to know at least a little bit of each other, which will be helpful, of course, throughout the course. And it's all about, creating that network of contacts. That's also part of our program, where we have a few hybrid physical sessions as well, where you could come in, meet each other, talk to each other, network. So that's also facilitated. So at our first go, why not we try to understand, if you can give a brief introduction about yourself, covering those points I just said, whether you're from FLP, OTQ, where you work, your current job, into what aspect are you in your work role? Is it finance, HR, marketing? A very simple introduction. So can everybody send a quick note on the chat box? Don't worry, you will not be put on the spotlight by asking you to unmute. No, it's just a quick short message on the chat box that you could do to quickly introduce yourself. Yeah, super. Rest of the, so everybody, now you can start typing and sharing your myself version, your professional myself version on your first case study class. Yes, can we quickly go through each other? Hi Naveen, so you're from finance, you're at IDP. Good. Vinod from FLP, heading audit at Allianz Finance. Okay. Hi Geetani, so you're from FLP, you're from MS, good, into finance. Then we have Nadun, grad from IIT, good. Duleka from MS, you're from the A-Star pathway. Then we have Satya from FLP, procurement at APA, logistics at Excel. Oh wow, Malisha. Okay. Then we have Ryan, who is from SCB, good. Then we have Adrian from manufacturing sense, 96% on competence, very good. 3 topics to finish, super, right? Pasindu from TVS, good. Then we have Medira from Next Retail UK. Then we have Maheshika from Envoy, Gayan, accountant. Then we have Tatsarani from MS, Anjana from Brandix, finance officer for Sri Lankan Airlines, Ruan Fernando, super. Finance executive at Sparks, super. Others, anybody else yet to introduce yourself? So guys, just get to know each other, right? So you won't be able to talk now in the online platform, but when we meet physically, when we meet for our hybrid sessions, definitely talk to each other, create that network of contacts, because end of the day you might land your first two jobs through interviews, and then it all matters about whom and who right? So therefore, make this an opportunity, right? You will have three case study windows: operational, managerial, and strategic. So why not make maximum use of it, right? It's not just passing case study, but it's also building on those additional building blocks that will enable you to that will basically take you forward in your corporate ladder as well, right? So just it's I mean, it's a very mixed crowd that we have. It's more skewed towards finance executive, accountant. Then we had from internal audit, so it's pretty much skewed towards that side. Then I saw a few into merchandising, procurement, client operations. Then a few undergraduates as well. Very good. And yeah, so I would say 80% coming from the finance sphere, finance landscape. Of course, then things are quite not challenging. Things are quite manageable, right? For that matter, given the environment and the background you're in, because you'll be doing these things day to day in your work, right? I know most of the finance roles are very specialized. If it's AR, if it's AP, if it's bank rec, if it's payments, I know, but I don't know, right? So it's quite specialized. But here we are trying to understand a gist of everything, right? You try to master all things. It could be finance, it could be marketing, it could be your operational side of things, it could be your IT knowledge, right? So operational level case study is that foundation you get in your case study journey that will have a mix of all these elements, right? That will have a mix of all these elements. So make maximum use of it, right? Sometimes you will be having better ideas, you will be having an advanced thought process than myself when we discuss certain things in the case study, right? So therefore, let's all bring everything to the table. Let's make this a two-way conversation. What I always encourage, what I always facilitate, what I always tell students is that we have to have a two-way interaction, right? It's not just one-way traffic, right? One-way traffic, I'll be feeding you with everything that I think will be important for the exam, but it has to be two-way. You might say, look here, no sir, this might be tested. If so, how are we going to answer? Now that's the conversation I want from you. When we are analyzing the presentation, I will say, look here, these and these are the features that we have to have in our website. You might say, no, these features are outdated. I want this embedded. No, you guys are, I mean, you will know the advanced functionalities, how we could bring in through AI, right? It's not just chat GPT, it's not just Gemini, it's not just Canva or whatever, right? You ask me today, what is the best AI platform for that matter, I'll say ChatGPT today, but remember, ChatGPT will not be the answer tomorrow. So we are in a corporate environment, we are in a landscape where these things are changing at a very rapid pace. So we also have got to, we should also sort of sync ourselves at that pace, expand our knowledge, right? And make sure we try to come up with practical solutions, practical answers with a practical sense, right? Answers with a practical sense. Now that's what the examiner will be looking out for in your case study examination as well. That's what the examiner will be looking out for in your case study examination as well, right? So therefore, we'll be going through all these areas. So now today, the purpose of the session today is that I'll take you through what we do in class, right? Mr. Channa Gunadhara will also join. He will also have a few words with you, so that we know of the intentions, right? We know as to what the approach you have to bring in. So I will tell the responsibilities from your end also that you've got to fulfill in making this a success, because we can't clap with one hand, right? We both parties, Nanaska and you guys, will have to jointly collaborate effectively so that we pass this exam. Remember, the sole objective of this entire program is that everybody of you pass, that all of you pass the examination. That is the sole objective, and you too should have the same objective. So we'll be agreeing on certain deadlines, we'll be agreeing on certain timelines, we'll be agreeing on some homework activities. Now all those things have to be done on those agreed timelines. I know, right? Everyone is busy, everyone is working, right? I mean, even if you are a full-time student, you will be quite occupied throughout the day. So it will not be a heap of, I mean, it will not be a load of work that I'll be unloading on you. No, right? Very small things, manageable things, reading the pre-scene, measuring your typing speed, doing a mock paper, right? Refreshing your theory knowledge. So let's take it in chunks and bits and pieces, not everything else, not everything together at once. So when we get everything together at once, it's going to be very difficult, right? So we'll break it into chunks, right? Week on week, I will tell you of the expectations. Look here, this week, this is what you have to do. Read the pre-scene, measure your typing speed, right? Refresh your E1 knowledge. Next week I will say refresh your P1 knowledge. Week after, refresh your F1 knowledge, right? So that's how it would work out. That's how it would work out. So you have to be carefully adhering to those guidelines, instructions, if you are to pass the exam, right? If you are to pass the exam, right? So if you look at Nanaska, our panel consists of myself, Mr. Channa. Then we have Ali, who will be your P1 lecturer. He will do a session on P1 separately. He will take P1 separately and do it for you. And then we have one more, that is Mr. Osman Fernando. He will also do F1 and E1 to you guys, right? So we have lecturers dedicatedly there, allocated to help you out for E1, F1, P1 as well, right? E1, F1, P1 as well. So it's all about sometimes you might have that concern, you might have that doubt, right? We saw when everybody of you gave a brief introduction, majority of you coming down from the FLP route. And so don't make it a concern, right? It's not at all a concern, right? We know how you pass the modules. Because of that itself, we have kept a few refresh theory sessions for you covering all three subjects, right, to get this going. So before I continue with the rest of the coursework, I think we have Mr. Channa here with us, who will speak to you on the expectations and on how he would collaborate with us on this journey. So over to you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Hi guys. So I'll take 10 minutes, but just to have a quick chat. So basically, as you know, SEMA has changed a lot over the years. SEMA has changed a lot over the years. About 10-15 years ago, SEMA was a very strong finance qualification. SEMA was a very, very strong finance qualification. To be specific, SEMA was a very strong management accounting qualification. In finance also, we identified there is an aspect of financial accounting. And SEMA was not about the financial accounting perspective, but about the management accounting perspective. So maybe 15 years ago, there were a lot of management accounting concepts that were taught, a lot of management accounting concepts that were tested on the exam day, a lot of calculations on the exam day. Today, all those things had changed drastically. SEMA is not anymore a management accounting qualification as at today. SEMA has now become a real business qualification. SEMA has now become a real business qualification. Hardcore accounting concepts that were there in the syllabus were taken out by SEMA. The hardcore accounting concepts that were there in the syllabus were taken out. Instead, a lot of new technological aspects were added in. As an example, how AI can change an industry, how Internet of Things can be very, very helpful for your organization, how blockchain will change the way we work. So a lot of technological aspects were added into the qualification. The hardcore accounting parts were taken out of the qualification. Those days, there were 16 different papers that one need to study. There were 16 different content one need to memorize. SEMA said, we don't need people who are memorizing theories. SEMA said, take away these theoretical aspects that needs to be memorized. Instead, SEMA said, add 3 case studies. Those days, there was only 1 case study. SEMA said, no, add 3 case studies and give very practical questions and see how whether these people can manage those very practical questions. If they can manage those practical questions, then we will give our membership for those who can manage practical questions. So today, SEMA has become 3 large case studies of how do you resolve very much day-to-day problems. The 3 case studies are operational level case study, management level case study, and strategic level case study. The strategic level case study is absolutely practical. But starting with your case study, the case study that you are going to do, operational level case study, bit more theoretical. Those theory aspects will come down. Practical aspects will be added as you move from operational level case study to the strategic level case study. So at Nanaska, our purpose is to build better leaders for the world. Our purpose is not to ensure you pass the case study and you get the SEMA membership. Of course, we will help you to get the SEMA membership. But our purpose is much more beyond than getting the SEMA membership. Our purpose is to build a better leader for the world. So, of course, whilst we help you to get the SEMA membership, we will, in addition, we will help you to develop your leadership skills. We will help you to be a practical problem resolver. We'll help you to be a practical problem resolver. We will not try to make someone who will memorize and pass the exams, because the purpose of Nanaska is to build better leaders. Purpose of Nanaska is to build better leaders. So we are very happy because SEMA has an objective that is very, very similar to that. SEMA has an objective that is very, very similar to what Nanaska believes in. Right? So I'm Channa Gunawardana. I'm the lead lecturer for Nanaska. I'm on the SEMA Global Council as well, so I get to know the thinking of SEMA much ahead, being a member of the SEMA Global Council in UK. Here, my role at Nanaska is to help you to be successful in your life, help you to be successful in your journey. That goes much more beyond helping you to pass the case study, whilst helping you to pass the case study, become a SIMA member is also a critical part of it. So that is why we have courses like Your Life is Your Life. Your Life is Your Life is a free course about how you live a happy life. That comes maybe twice a year. Those programs are there for us to help you. Those programs are there for us to help you. In addition, we have Nanaska Connect. The objective of Nanaska Connect is help you to find suitable jobs. So that is after you get the qualification, yet we will try to see how we can help you. And even if you have a challenging work at office, we'll try to help you with that as well. So we are going beyond, we are going very much beyond, just helping you to pass the case study. All right? And we want you to be successful business leaders for the world. So we will keep that objective and work together. OCS case study is done by Mr. Mark. He's an amazing lecturer. We have received absolutely great feedback about the work that he is doing. So we will work together and ensure you pass the case study and ensure you be successful in the journey that you are going on. So I just want to add little initial thoughts for you. As much as the case study is enjoyable and fun, you got to allocate the required hours of work somehow. You can't just pass the case study without allocating the required hours of work. So my request is usually students are motivated, they'll allocate a lot of work, hours, they look at the industry, they'll Google about the industry, all that happen in the first 10 days. But usually the interest will come down after the first 10 days. That interest, enthusiasm that you had will come down after 10 days. And that will, of course, go up 10 days prior to the exam. But that's not helpful. What is helpful is to be motivated throughout the 6 weeks of the course. So you got to allocate time. It's not only the time. Of course, you got to allocate time every day. But it's not only the time. It is believing that you are living in that company. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you should remember your pre-seed. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you should be attached to it. You should just Google about it. Go to ChatGPT and type about this industry and see what it says about. Whenever you try to find a friend who knows about the industry, get some views. So keep that interest going. Then, with the help of what we do, I'm sure you will be able to get a great score. So that's all what I want to say you. All the very best. Thank you very much for joining with Nanaska. Please tell other students to join with us. Get them connected to us. My mobile number is there. You can just send me a message. I would love to be connected. Send me a message, your name and where you work. So I'll save your number. We can be in touch. Thank you very much. All the very best. See you soon. Okay. Take care. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Right. So we've heard from Chanase as well. So I was just briefing you on our panel, and then let me come to as to what we will cover in class, right? So this is basically the content, right? The structure that we follow when we crack down our operational level case study. Right now, tell me, does anybody of you know what the industry is? Does anybody of you know what the industry is this time we have for our case study? The name of the company at least? You all received the pre-scene yesterday, right? Very good. The name of the company is Sumtrix. Now, what does Sumtrix do? Manufacturing, skiing products and sales. Yes. Right now, this is a very new industry to almost all of us. Why? We don't have this sport in the countries where we are basically based in. Right? It's a very, a common sport in the European region, right? Snow and all of that. But it's not very popular, not very famous in the South Asian, the Asian region of it. Right? So we'll look at those things, right? So don't worry, it's going to be interesting because we're going to learn something new, right? Even I'm not a fan, even I'm not familiar, even I'm not the specialized person to talk about skiing products. But let's see how it goes, right? It's all about getting some industry knowledge, exposure, what happens, the similar products and services, right? Who are the competitors? How do they sell their products? Who are their customer base? What sort of things should we do to market our product? So it's an entirely brand new concept. It's an entirely brand new approach that you and I, both of us, we have to take. Right? Last case study, if you remember, it was about half penny. I guess it was about bread. Now we are talking about skiing equipment. We are talking about skiing equipment. Right, so in cracking down this case study, we look at a few aspects. For example, we start with analyzing the pre-scene. We call that know your pre-scene. So we take 2 weeks to analyze the pre-scene in class, and you get a shortened, summarized form of the pre-scene. That document is called know your pre-scene. Then you get a detailed form of the analysis we discuss. We call that the deep dive. So these are two things on the pre-scene you get for your reference once we analyze the pre-scene in class. Right? So that's the deep dive and the know your pre-scene. So know your pre-scene, if you can go through it at least twice a week, you get you get all the company related information in the know your pre-scene. Right, it will cover what the company is about, the products, the sales, the operations, manufacturing, employees, numbers, everything in a nutshell. It will cover the pre-scene document, right? The pre-scene document, it will be compressed to a KYP version, that is know your pre-scene version, which is a summarized version of the case study. Then the detailed analysis we discuss in class, that document also will be given to you, and that we call deep dive. So it's an in-depth analysis relating the E1, F1, P1 theories also to the pre-scene, as to what areas could be tested, as to what areas could come up on the exam day. So that's deep dive and the know your pre-scene. Then we have something called know your industry. Now, what do we learn from this? We try to understand, okay, what are the best practices of the industry? What are the challenges in the industry? Opportunities in the industry? Trends in the industry? How is data used? How is IT used in the industry? What are the new developments that would define the future of the industry? So some basic aspects of the industry. So remember, in OCS, you don't need to know in-depth industry knowledge or information, but some basic information would do. Regarding the industry. So therefore, we'll be looking at a KYI document as well, which is know your industry. Then we have a financial mock and a power mock. The financial mock will be relevant questions from your F1. So we will be replacing power mock this time. Instead, we will be giving you a document called KYT, that is know your triggers. Right, so KYT will summarize the questions what came in the past with reference to the past papers. What sort of subject related questions have the examiner tested in the past? Now that is what we will analyze, and that is what we will give you in a shortened form, a document called KYT, so that you know what are the areas you have to cover, what are the what are the key theory areas, right? Similar questions that have been asked in the previous attempts by the examiner. So that's about know your triggers, KYT. Then we have the most important thing, that is the mock paper. So we give you a very similar paper to what comes in the exam. So likewise, we call that a mock paper. We do about 8 or 9 mock papers in this session. How many? We do 8 or 9. Most probably it will be about somewhere between, based on the timing. Minimum is 8, maximum is 10. So somewhere there we will be covering mock papers in the session. We'll be doing it in class, right? So mock 1 we will do together. So I will show you what are the things, what is the answer structure you have to follow, right? What is the answer structure you have to follow? How do you derive the points to the answer? How much you have to write? How do you organize the answer? How do you present the answer? So all of that we will discuss in mock 1, right? And I will give you the mock 1 paper and the answer both for you to understand and study and learn, for you to get some gist of it. Then what is expected from you is from mock 2 onwards. From mock 2 onwards, it's all about what you have to do in class. Not in class, you can do it and come to class to review what you have done, right? So from mock 2 onwards, every week you will be assigned at the start 1 mock. As we progress, you will be assigned 2 mocks per week. Altogether, you will have to attempt how many? 8 mock papers. You will have to attempt 8 mock papers. Remember that. You will have to attempt 8 mock papers. You'll have to attempt 8 mock papers. Right? That's about the mock papers. Now, this is what that will prepare you for the examination. Now, remember, our mock papers are, I don't make them easy. It's quite difficult, right? To give you that sense and to give you the worst case scenarios that you would face. There could be easy ones as well, but majority of it, it's quite detailed, right? It's more towards onto the difficult side so that you get a taste of how it would be tested in the actual exam as well, right? So therefore, this is something very important. Everybody should attempt it based on according to the timeline we assign you, according to the timeline we give you. Remember that. Then we have refresh theory sessions. There will be 3 refresh theory sessions, right? For your E1, P1, and for your F1. You will have 3 refresh theory sessions for your E1, P1, and F1. Remember that, right? 3 refresh theory sessions for your E1, P1, and F1, right? So as we go along, I have done a slide where I will show you which subject you have to pay more attention on, right? But somehow you have to revise all 3 subjects, E1, F1, P1. So for that, we might have about 2 sessions for P1, another 2 sessions for F1, and 1 session for E1, right? So you'll have altogether about 5 to 6 refresh theory sessions will be scheduled, and once you register, you will get our class schedule as well, right? Hopefully by tomorrow, you should be able to get the class timetable and the class schedule as well, because we can't have everything on weekends. We might have a few weekday night sessions so that everybody is able to catch up on the time. We'll have a few, maybe not long, 1.5 hour, 2 hour max weekday night session, so that we are able to cover all these things, right? Because online sessions, it's not productive taking more than 2.5 hours, right? So rest of it we try to cover by having another session over the course of the week. If it's physical, if it's hybrid session, of course we take it for about 3.5 hours, sometimes 4 hours also, right? Then industry, along with KYI, you will get some industry insights as well. You will be getting 1-to-1 discussions on. Now I told you will be attempting 8 mock papers. Out of those 8, for about 4 mock papers, we will give you individualized attention where you get 1-to-1 sessions with our team, where they will highlight the areas you have to improve, what should you do better next time, right? What should you do to avoid certain mistakes? How do you manage your time? You can ask whatever the question you want from them, So you'll be given 4 1-to-1 sessions out of 8 mock papers you do. Don't worry, all the 8 mock papers will be marked and you will get the feedback through email. But the 1-to-1 session is something beyond that, where you get a chance to chat, right, with one of our team members, where they will highlight you on the changes you have to do, on how to avoid your mistakes, on how you can further improve yourself, on things like that, right? So that's a 1-to-1 session. Then we will do another document called possible issues. What are the possible scenarios, questions examiner can throw up at you on the exam day? So we try to anticipate them. Now remember, we have 8 mock papers, and apart from that we have another possible issue document. Now the 8 mock papers will also be about trying to understand what sort of questions, what sort of scenarios, what sort of problems the examiner will throw at you. So based on the feedback we've received so far, we've been able to easily predict about what comes to the exam by about 80 to 90%. Easily we've been able to predict. Sometimes the questions we have in our mock papers in a similar format, we have seen them in the actual examination as well. So that you can talk to our students. I mean, that has been our own objective also, to try and anticipate, to try and forecast what the examiner will try and throw up on the exam day. So we've been quite successful to a great extent in that. So that's why we try to cover 8 papers, another possible issue document, to all of that, so that we try to widen our angle of capturing whatever the examiner could, whatever the examiner's lens would be able to perceive. Now this is what we will do in class. So we'll give you a clean schedule for it, dates, session, what we do in class, timing, all of that, right? So any questions up to this point? Do you all have any questions, anything to be clarified before I move on to the next part? Is everybody clear up to now? If you are clear, you can send a note on the chat box that you are clear. If you have any questions, concerns, clarifications, I'll give you about 2 minutes. Feel free to ask anything. Yeah, feel free to ask anything. All good? What about the others? Super. Rest of you? Right. So then, our case study is about some tricks. It's into skiing equipment. It's a manufacturer and seller of skiing equipment, right? So over the course of the week, you can, do some Googling, do some YouTubing, do some AI platform searching on what skiing is about, what are the trends in the industry, what sort of gear, we call that skiing gear, what sort of gear is needed to do a proper skiing activity. What are the competitions? There are global level competitions happening, right? So likewise, just try to get a taste of what the industry looks like. Who are the players in the industry? What do they do? What do they sell? What are the customer reviews, right? Who are the key players, who are highlighted, right, as skilled skiing professionals? So maybe we can use one of them for our branding programs, use one of them as one of our influencers or whatnot. So we can think about it later. So before we go to that level, you've got to have some basic information, basic understanding on what this subject is about, on what this sport is about, right? And remember, we are doing equipment, and this is not an easy sport, right? There are instances of where there have been accidents resulting in so many injuries, right? So our equipment has to be of top quality, right? It has to, serve the purpose. At the same time, it has to be appealing to the target market. So those, I believe, that those could be the primary objectives that we could lay out in terms of operations, and product, right? So then also you will get a document I told you about know your industry. That's called the KYI, right? So it will have some industry statistics. It will have some trends, risks, challenges, opportunities, way forward, how the use of technology need to all of that. It will have some good industry related overall view. It's not a in detail, in-depth view of the industry. No, that is not needed at OCS. But it's a very high level bird's eye view of the industry, what happens, and the basic things that we've got to know with us, if at all, that's needed to answer in our case study examination. If at all to answer, it could be even in the mock papers or even in the case study examination, right? So we'll be working out on the industry part as well. Also, we will try to understand, okay, who are the real world companies that are very similar to our organization, some tricks, right, that we could follow. So these days, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, follow these companies, right? See what sort of content are they pushing through, what sort of videos are they posting, what sort of products do they manufacture with regards to skiing equipment, what are the customer reviews, what have the customers asked for. If we know only what the customers ask for, in return we can give the value. So therefore, make sure you have a clear understanding of similar real companies who exist like some tricks. It has to be real similar existing companies, very similar to that of some tricks, very similar to the organization in our praising, as well, right? So there'll be a segment on your KYI document also with reference to one of these companies. Now here I have included many brands that are very similar in terms of skiing gear, skiing equipment, whatnot, but will be taking out one out of the list, and we'll be having a few slides on this company also. So from your end, do some research, do some searching, do some Facebook, Google, ChatGPT, YouTube. I don't have to tell what you have to do. Do some research on these companies, right? How have they grown? Where is their foundation from? What is their story, right? What are the products that they offer which we don't offer? So basically, the objective of this exercise of doing taking a real world company and getting some knowledge, insights, information is, we've got to establish, okay, if this is where the real world company exists, or this is where it has positioned itself, where are we? Am I here? If I am here, how can I bring myself up here, right? If I am below this standard of excellence that has been set by a real world company, what should I do to bridge this gap? So you do a benchmarking exercise, right, between a real world company and your company, some tricks. Then you get some insights. Okay, I don't have X product, I don't have Y product, I don't serve to this Z market base, right? So those are things that you could adapt. Those are things that you could learn from that exercise. So then you know the practical. Remember at the start I told you, your solutions, your recommendations, your answers have to be practical. It has to have some practical sense. Now that's when you had done that research, when you know some actual facts about these real world companies into skiing equipment, you are able to give a better, practical, rounded, very informative and a straightforward answer to the examiner. So that is the objective of this exercise. Right? Good. So if you look at the overview of the case study, I've broken this up into two things, right? One are your critical success factors, and then how your theory is broken down in your exam, right? Now you can see, we'll start with the theory. Where is the majority of if you look at the case study itself, about 60 to 70%, where is it from? It's coming from your E1, F1, P1. Remember that. Now that's a very important learning that we have to pay attention to. Remember, OCS tries to assess your technical competence as well. So therefore, knowledge on E1, F1, P1 is compulsory. It's very important. Don't neglect that. Right? So the core areas defined on your E1, F1, P1 has to be covered, has to be touched, and you have to be familiar with it, because 60 to 70% of your paper are from those areas. If you don't know them, how are you going to answer them? No, that's not possible. So therefore, please take this seriously. Your examination is about a 60 to 70% a technical paper. Rest of the 30%, yes, you can answer from the practical sense, from business applications, by taking examples XYZ. But the core part of it, about 60 to 70%, the core part of your paper comes down from your technical aspects, from your E1, F1, P1. So don't forget that. Pay enough attention, attend all the refresh theory classes, and make sure you are conversant, make sure you are familiar with the theory. You are familiar with the theory. That's number one. Number two, out of that 60 to 70%, where is the majority tested? Which subject have they tested the most? Can I get the answer? Now I'm telling you, 60 to 70% of your paper will be a theory. I mean, it will be associated from the theory you have to learn. That is E1, F1, P1. Now out of that 60 to 70%, remember, more than 50% is coming from your P1, then F1, and then E1. Don't neglect that also, where this is something where most of the students fail to acknowledge. When we talk about theory, they just simply look at everything without proper focus. But make sure majority, more than 50% of the theory questions will be from what? Will be from P1. Why? It's about management accounting. It talks about production, it talks about operation, it talks about marketing, talks about costing, everything in P1. So majority, about 60% of your paper will be from the P1. 20% will be from the, or 25% will be from F1, and 15% will be from E1. Remember that mix. That's very important. So majority is that you have to pay more attention to P1 and F1, because this is where most of the technical areas lie. When we come to P1, technical areas, for example, could be your absorption costing, marginal costing, activity-based costing. Could be your budgets, incremental versus top-down, bottom-up, activity-based budgets, all of that, right? Then when it comes to relevant costing, right? When it comes to variance analysis, the simple variances, the basic variances, and the advanced variances. So all of this majority content coming from your P1. So remember, majority of it from P1, then from F1, and finally from E1. So you got to know and acknowledge this composition of your case study for you to pass the exam. So remember that. It's very important. It's one of the most critical success factors. You can see that here. One of the most critical success factors. And then your mock papers. I told you, you will be assigned about 8 to 9 mock papers. We give you a timeline. You have to complete it accordingly. Then only we also have time to attend to your paper, mark it, give you feedback, do the one-to-ones, and complete that process. So please cooperate with us, right? Start work from tomorrow itself, right? And make sure you stick to the timelines we agree in class. Words per minute. What is words per minute? Words per minute is your typing speed. So make sure it's 35 or more. Make sure your words per minute is 35 or more. Even 30 or more is average, but it would be ideal if it could be 35 or more than that. 35 or more than that. So therefore, words per minute matters. It refers to your typing speed. Spend some time, take a newspaper, keep typing, track your WPM. For case study, remember 30 plus, at least a minimum of 35 words per minute should be possible. You should be able to type it at that pace. You should know your pre-scene well. Remember, I always tell you to read the pre-scene at least 20 to 25 times before the exam. Right? You have to read it. You have to read it at least 20 to 25 times before the examination. Remember that. That's very important. Right? That's very important. Then possible issues are again what we try to anticipate that could come up on the exam day, right? Possible issues are again what we try to anticipate as to what could come up on the exam day, right? So remember, this is the area, these are the highlights of your case study, and at the same time these are the critical success factors of your case study. You got to know your theory well. Why? Because about 60 to 70% is from your theory. The balance is only from your business applications, practical writing to whatnot. Out of that 60 to 70%, the majority, more than 50%, is from your P1, then E1, and then F1. Then you need to practice your mock papers. A minimum of, you'll be getting 8 mock papers. You have to attempt all of them in the scheduled timeline. You'll be getting 1-to-1 sessions. You'll be getting marked feedback. Then you have to work on your typing speed, read the pre-scene more than 20 times, and possible issues, go through them as well. So that if we cover all these, we've anticipated and we are 100% ready for the examination. Simply, that's what I want to tell. If you can tick all these off, right? No doubt, we are at 100%. So make sure you tick all these things up. Make sure you take a note of these areas. This is what you have to do when it comes to passing the examination. So don't worry, we have our team back here. I'm there. Mr. Channa is there. So we are always there, willing to help you around. If you have any form of difficulty, don't hesitate to reach out for that matter. Right? So this has to be the Bible of your OCS. Make sure you cover all these things. Make sure what is the composition of your case study. From that composition, what are the areas in terms of the refresh theories that you have to focus more on. Right? Now, is this clear to all of you? I want everybody to tick this off. I want everybody to understand this slide, because this is the most important slide out of all. So can I get a heads up on the chat box? Did we all understand it? Is everybody clear on what you have to do? Superb. What about the others? So it's not that I'm trying to threat you or make you afraid or give you fear. No, I'm just telling you the actual context of the operational case study, because we've heard it from students, right? We've done it for we've done it for every session over the past 6-7 years. So based on that only, I'm trying to inculcate certain things in you, so that you know, you are aware from day one. When you start running, when you start working, you know the areas that you have to focus more on. You know the areas where you have to be careful on, where you have to give more attention to detail on, so that you are able to crack down the pre-scene, you are able to answer the mock paper, you are able to answer the final exam paper with ease. That's the sole objective, right? It's not, objective is not to dump you with work, but then a systematic approach. Let's break it down into chunks, right? And make sure you are able to deliver, we are able to deliver, and both of us, we get together and get through this case study in November, right? So when are your exam dates? Yes. When are your exam dates? Yes. 5 to 7 November. Your exam dates are from the 5th to the 7th of November. Right? 5th to the 7th of November. So you barely have about 1.5 months. Am I right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of October, 1 week from September, 6 weeks, and then about another half a week from November. So you have barely 1.5 months to do all this work. Right? You have barely about 1.5 months to do this work. And remember, mind you, these 1.5 months will go like this. Right? So start work now. Start work today. First, take your refresh theory, take your theory documents, get done with it. We have some documents available in our LMS also. Once you register and once you get access, you can download them and refer them. No harm at all. but then with the resources you have, start working now, start working today. Refresh and revise all your theory, E1, F1, P1, that is critical. If you are in the FLP route, take time, prioritize your modules, make sure you complete your competencies within the next 2 weeks, nothing beyond that, because at least you have to have 1 month 100% to focus only on the case study, right? At least you need to have 1 month 100% to focus solely only on the operational case study. So keep that in mind. Don't delay, don't procrastinate, don't drag. Make sure you are done with your theory revising. Make sure you're done with refreshing your theory, right? Good. So any other questions you guys want to ask with regards to OCS? I'll give about 5-10 minutes for a Q&A session. So any other things, questions, doubts, clarifications you may have, you may want to clear out, you may want to get some answers on the operational level case study, or on what we do at Nanaska, how we do at Nanaska, whatever, right? I'll give you about 5 minutes. You can always ask any question, right? Ask any question. Do we practice? Yes, of course. So as I told you, mock 1, I will tell you the approach you have to take. Then mock 2 you do by yourself. I'm not going to interfere. Then we give you the marks for mock 2 and we review the mock 2 in class. Then when we have hybrid sessions, we will be taking sections here and there from mock papers, and I will be doing it in class. That is, I will time it and give you to write, and then we will review. So doing the mocks by yourself is a form of practice, right? Then doing those ad hoc section wise answers on a time manner in class is also a practice. So we will do both, Malsha, right? We will do both. How many time is good to prepare for OCS? As I told you, at least 1 month, 3 to 4 weeks, you have to have 100% to focus on OCS. I'm not telling you to put leave for 1 month and stay at home and study. No. That depends on your capacity. That depends on how much of effort you have put in at the start. If you have put some effort at the start itself, we don't want leave to study for OCS. Just the exam week is enough, right? So therefore, plan properly from day 1. If you do that, you won't get things to be piled up at the end. You won't have 6 mock papers to do in the last week. No. Every week, do a paper towards the end of the session. Do 2 papers per week. Likewise, plan your work. We will also give you a plan, and we will try our level best to stick to it. It depends on the cooperation you give. If that's the case, it will be easy for both you and me, right? So it depends on. Otherwise, a minimum of 3 to 4 weeks focusing only on the case study is more than enough. I'm telling this. Focusing only on the case study means on top of the other work you have. That is basically your occupation, your job, right? Passing mark is 80 out of 150. Yes, correct. So our papers will be marked out of 100%. So your pass mark has to be about 53, 55%. So keep 55% as your pass mark. You have to get above 55% in the mock papers for you to pass. So don't worry, everybody will be getting low marks in mock 2, 3, but I want a continuous improvement. You getting 20 marks in mock 2, you can't be getting 10 marks in mock 3. It has to be 40. It has to be 50, 60. Likewise, you have to apply your learnings from one paper to the other. One paper to the other, you have to apply your learnings, gradually work on increasing your marks. So closer to the exam, try your level best to hit a target about 80 to 85%. That means you are 100% fine to face the exam and pass it, right? So make it a continuous improvement journey. Make it a continuous learning exercise. Apply the learnings, learn from your peers when we have hybrid sessions, when we meet, talk to them, look at their challenges, understand it, see if you face that, what you could have done differently, right? All those conversations matter, guys, right? So therefore, when we have hybrid sessions, I want all of you to come to class. We'll be streaming it online, but still it would be good to know each other as well as network, plus the learning curve, the learning experience, the knowledge sharing that will happen is more than worthwhile than we doing online sessions, right? So We will share the timetable with you. In the timetable, the hybrid session dates will be marked separately. So make sure you attend them as well. Make sure you attend them as well. Good. Have I answered your questions? Christian, Ruan, and Malsha. Others, don't you all have any other questions? Any other questions for me to answer? Very good question. Pass rate of Nanaska. Pass rate of Nanaska is always at, based on, if it's like this. So based on we will have registrations. So we usually take pass rate out of the ones who attempted and attended class. So based on that is always more than 70% for those who attended and worked in class, because we will also have a set of students who will just register, not come to class, don't do mock papers, nothing, right? So yeah, pre-scene is available. I will share the pre-scene on the chat box as well for you to download. So once you register, guys, you get access to our LMS, right? So LMS is where you recorded sessions, the documents, the resources to whatnot. Everything is there on the LMS, right? So you will get access to that upon registration very soon. So there you can refer for all the coursework. So let me share the pre-scene. Right. Any other question? Any other questions, guys? How many hours to study per day? At least at the start, reserve about 1.5 hours, right? 1.5 to 2 hours max at the start, right? And then later, yes, you can slowly, gradually increase it. But at least, I don't think you can start with 2 hours. At least start with 1 hour, right? Gradually keep on increasing. So that the objective is you complete the work as per the time frame, as per the schedule, so that you don't pile up things at the last stages. Because 1.5 months is what we have to do all the work I showed you, right? So it's going to be a hectic exercise, and we have to shift gears somewhere after 2-3 weeks. I will be shifting gears. You also have to shift gears. For you to shift gears, you have to be ready for it. For you to be ready for it, do your background work now. What is your background work? Research about the industry, reading the pre-scene, making your typing speed faster, knowing your theory, E1, F1, P1. So those are the groundwork, the foundation that you have to lay properly in the first 3 to 4 weeks, or rather in the first 2 to 3 weeks. Then based on that, we can launch. After the 3rd week, it's about the last 3 weeks is going to be a marathon, right? It's going to be a fast-paced marathon, to be honest. So make yourselves ready for it. Brace yourselves now so that you are able to launch, right? So for you to make yourself ready now, those things that I highlighted, you have to cover them and make sure you are comfortable with them. Make sure you are comfortable with them, right? Good. So I have shared the pre-scene in the chat box. You can download it. It will be there in the LMS also. Don't worry. So since you requested for it, I have shared it on the chat box for you to download. right? So is that all? Any other questions? No need to memorize, guys. Please don't memorize, right? uh, you have to do the questions on the competencies. That's a must for you to pass your respective subjects and go forward in your LMS platform. That's a must, so you have to do, right? Focus more on refreshed videos and notes in Nanaska LMS. Yes, so do the questions in competencies, focus on theory videos and notes in Nanaska is enough. At the same time, don't go and memorize theory related issues. Don't go and memorize, right? Focus more on, your first two lines are perfect, right? Then you don't have to again go back to the competencies and read everything again. No, because we have given you all the topics needed for the case study in the refresh theory document. If you want a little bit more detail, yes, then you can do some search, right? You don't have to go back to all the competencies again, right? And when you are coming for the refresh theory sessions, come with your doubts, come with your unclear areas. Tell the lecturer, okay, cover these and these areas for me. These areas I'm having a doubt. I want more clarity on this. This is not clear to me. I don't understand this. Please clarify this. Right? So you come up with all your doubts and questions to your refresh theory session so that you are able to clear them then and there. Right? So that's something that you have to prepare from your end. So start working now, then you will realize, okay, I'm not sure with this, I don't understand this, better if I can get more clarity on this. So you get those points once you start diving into it. So start now, right? Start now. Right. So then I have already taken you through the key areas of our course and what we do in class, plus the overview of the case study, what is expected from your end. So this is basically the plan where you will be given a practice mock timeline. Then you'll be given a class. You'll be also be given a class schedule. You'll be having one-to-one sessions and feedback sessions as well. So along with that, we'll be having a few hybrid sessions where you can bring your mock papers, we can review them, plus we will be doing certain timed questions in class, right? It will be quite interactive sessions. So we planned about 3 hybrid sessions over the course of these 6 weeks, and we'll update you on the dates of that as well, right? So with that, I guess we can conclude the introductory session, and we'll be starting from tomorrow. We'll be starting classes from tomorrow. So from tomorrow, I'll be starting the pre-scene analysis. So we'll be starting off with the pre-scene analysis from tomorrow. So I hope to see all of you in class. So if you have not registered yet, you can contact the Nanaska helpline and register yourself. If you have registered already, then no problem. You will get access to the LMS and you will get the class invite for tomorrow's session, right? So it will be a very interesting journey. As I told you, a new industry, new to both you and me. So it's going to be a continuous learning exercise, and we have to complete all of those activities I showed you in class over the next 6 weeks. and there is a lot of commitment that is needed from your end. You saw the overview of the case study. About 60 to 70% is from the technical theory areas. So out of that, a majority from P1, then F1, then E1. So I highlighted the critical success factors also, right? I highlighted the critical success factors also. So if you can tick all these critical success factors off, no doubt, 100% it's sure about passing the exam. The challenge is ticking them off, right? So as Chandra sir correctly mentioned, the enthusiasm, the excitement, the interest you have today, you should maintain it until the end. That's what that will carry you, right? So stick, that will help you to stick to the timelines. That will give you a lot of interest of getting this done, uh, so that you're able to pass the exam. So that's the objective, that's the motive, and we'll be committed for it. And I want your commitment and cooperation also. And let's make it interesting in class. And I'm hoping to see all of you in class from tomorrow onwards. So if there are no more questions, we are good to wind up for today. And I'll see you all again tomorrow. So any other questions, guys? Anything to be clarified? Yes, I'll be here hanging around for about 5 minutes. You can always ask. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. You're welcome. Yes, Sunday sessions will be starting at 6 or 6:30. Most probably 6 or 6:30, somewhere there. Then weekday evenings it will be about not earlier than 8:30 p.m. It will be 8:30 to 10, most probably. That's how it will work. Theory classes in week, it's not theory classes. For weekdays, we might have one weekday session for every week, right? Sometimes two, because we want to complete the refresh series fast. So we'll be trying to complete the refresh series in advance so that you are conversant and competent with those refresh series areas to answer mock papers. So at the start, there might be a few classes in weekday evenings for refresh theory. I'll be starting my session after about first 2 to 3 weeks. We'll be having every week we'll be having a session for case study, right? So at the start for theory, we'll be having about 1 or 2 sessions every week. So we'll be sharing the timetable with you once you register. Most probably by tomorrow, we can share the entire lineup with you as to how we have planned the dates, the days, and the time, right? Right, guys. So thank you, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.